So this is the fifth and final part of my beginner's photography tutorial. Hello everybody, my name is Junaid Qureshi, and if this is your first time, welcome to the channel. I make videos about tech and creativity. If any of these things excites you, consider subscribing. Let's get back to the video. So what was the purpose of this series? I just wanted to teach newcomers in photography holding your camera for the very first time by knowing their buttons and then by knowing their menu system, and then later knowing how to shoot in auto mode, and then in same video to know the limitations of auto mode, and from there how to switch from auto to manual by learning exposure triangle. And the last video was all about exposure triangle. In exposure triangle I taught you that you can lock any two component of your exposure triangle and play with one. You can pair any two, it's all up to you, but in some cases you cannot do that, and you have to cut the amount of light which is hitting the sensor to get the proper exposure. And for that I told you that we need ND filter, and this video is all about ND filter, and this is going to be the last one. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight to the setup of showing you what is the reason and how you can use ND filter. The choice of ND filter will be yours, totally yours. Maybe on this channel I have made a video, the one I use. I really like this system, I admire this system, but there is nothing in this world which is perfect. So everything depends on your budget or on your liking. There is no thumb rule straight. So let's start the process of telling you what is ND filter and when you need it and how to use it. So this is our setup right now. This is my Sony a7 IV. I have taken out 35mm f1.4 from there to place it on this camera. So we can shoot at f1.4, the widest aperture, where it's full open and it takes lots and lots of light. Our both key light and fill light both are at 100%, and our subject is, which is our lens, is also white. So having the fix setting on this camera like f1.4 ISO at minimum 100, and let's say 1:30th of a second is the shutter speed, and we cannot change these settings, right? And this is bright sunlight, and now here comes these ND filters. So we are going to record the screen of this camera just to show you that how much light you are going to cut through different stops of ND filters. So let me bring you near to this camera. Now this is the best example that our settings are: shutter is 1:30, f1.4 and ISO 1:5. Let's decrease the ISO, but still you can see that the top portion of our subject is blown out. You can hardly see these numbers, and maybe if you can see that as well. Anyways, so what we are going to do, we are going to attach this 2 to 5 stop ND filter, and we will see that how much light we are going to cut. Okay, so right now everything is all set, and let me rotate and see how much light we can cut. You see, highlights are now down. We can easily read this AF and MF, and we know that there is something written on top of it, but we have lost some detail in our shadows. You can see shadows are more darker, and our brightest part is now okay, but we can still just decrease the value of our ND filter. This is now 5 stop ND, which is more than enough. So we should decrease the value of our ND just to see how much we can go. I guess this is the perfect one, and in post later we can decrease the amount of highlights and we can lift up the shadows. Just to show you a detail that how things works, let me take out this ND filter. Now you can see that without ND filter, but still I have 2 stop ND filter attached. It's a base layer, base ND, and it's already attached to the system. Now we are at 5 stop. So this is how you can manage light while you want to shoot with slow shutter speed and wide open aperture. And let's take it out and achieve the same result by changing our First, let's change our shutter speed. We have achieved a lot since we changed our shutter speed. Let's decrease ISO to 64 and now it's 50. Now you can see that we have achieved the same result by just increasing our shutter speed by 2 stop and our ISO by downing it to 2 stop. Again, we just did the adjustment of 5 stop in camera. And with all of these settings changed, we still managed to keep our iris at f1.4. What happens if we keep our ISO at 100, shutter speed back to 30, and by increasing the amount of f-stop means we are decreasing the opening of our iris. Now you can see with iris 4.0 with the same settings in shutter and ISO, we have achieved this thing. But if I just increase the ISO just to show you that now we can very well understand what is happening behind the subject. I mean, blurriness is there, of course, but we can have a very good idea of these lights, these shelves and pictures and the top down lights and the chair behind it. We can see everything easily. But what happens if I decrease the value of iris by f1.4 and let me decrease the ISO? Now see, the blur is so beautiful that it's very hard to understand that what is happening in the background of the subject. I mean, you can't understand the chair, you can understand these vertical lights, these hanging lights, the sofa, the pictures, the screen of the computer. You just cannot understand everything in f1.4. So this is the perfect example then when you need iris to f1.4 and when you need slow shutter speed. Of course, right now we don't need so much slow shutter speed. We can easily manage with the shutter speed of 1:60 because we are in control environment. Then we can control the lights, we are inside and we are not shooting any moving subject. Here's another example. Let's say you are trying to shoot a picture of this subject and you want to do some light painting, so you want your shutter to be open for a longer period of time. In this case, our shutter speed is, you can very well see, it's 1 second and our iris is f1.4 and our ISO is 100. The lowest we can do is 50 is the lowest. Still you can see that we don't have any detail on our subject, and in that case we will use ND filter. So let me put ND filter on it and then we will see how much light our ND filter will cut. So now you can see that our ND filter has just given us more shadows, but the highlights are still blown out. We have to increase the value of our ND filter. We have to put more stops on our ND filter. So let's get 6 to 9 stop ND filter and put that in front of our camera. Now you can see how much light we managed to cut. So now how you are going to do some light painting, you are going to open your shutter for the longer period of time for 1 second. Okay, let me do a light painting like this. Although 1 second isn't enough, but I cannot do much light. This is the perfect example that what you are going to achieve with all of this practice. This is you can do with these ND filters. So you have seen that why I talk about ND filters and why you need these. It's too early for you because you are a beginner right now. I just added this thing maybe a bit too early for you, just to let you know that this is going to be the final investment you are going to have later when you are going to get into some sort of what I can say, outdoor photography with slow shutter speed, then you will definitely need these ND filters. In my case, I shoot all my videos with this Sigma 35mm f1.4 and I keep my iris at f1.4 and I use these two lights. One is fill light, one is key light, and I definitely manage the amount of light. With all of this in my control, I still use this two-stop base ND filter. This base ND filter always stays inside this ND filter system, and on top of it, then we put this main ND filter system. So this is the last video about this beginner's photography tutorial. I'm going to keep adding some useful videos, small videos about this photography, but soon I'm going to start the same series for videography. As I do more videography, I don't do photography much now. I used to do it, but I shoot videos more now. So videos is totally different than photography. In photography, you can play with exposure triangle, but in videography, you can do that. So I cannot say everything about for videography videos in this video, but I'm just telling you that what is the next plan I am having. And with videography, I'm going to add up DaVinci Resolve tutorials as well, because DaVinci Resolve is free. And if you are going to shoot videos, then definitely you need to edit those. So you cannot learn everything about photography from these videos or from one video or from one series. It's all about how you are going to learn it and how you are going to practice it. The more photography you will do, you will go through more hurdles. And after having hurdles, you are going to maybe search for the solution, or maybe you are going to do it by yourself, and you are going to learn by yourself as well. You will use some ways to work around with those hurdles. So this is how photography works. No one can teach you each and everything, because challenges are keep changing and challenges are keep coming in different ways with different photographers. It all depends where you are shooting. So I hope you like today's video and you like the last video of this series. I'm going to put somewhere here the playlist of all these videos, so you can go and watch from video 1 just to grasp everything. So I think this is it for today. I hope you like today's video. If you like today's video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Till then, peace.
I wanna ride with you in the morning.